Is that too much?
Hey.
Two?
I was ending the Newport Beach.
You don't? Well, technically, yes, you do, but again, this is SOI, right? This is called a lazy man or lazy woman CMA for a reason, because you're not really prospecting. You're really communicating back with your SOI. I know you know your friend's addresses. I know you know some of your prospects' addresses. Sounds good.
我真的是谢谢，谢谢老板。
Sit or you gonna stand?
Go out.
你那边嘛，你后面，这个放这边。
Our audience, like under 18.
Daniel, we're good. We can start, Daniel. We're
Oh,
good.
we started?
Yeah.
Okay, I got all excited. All right, gang, first and foremost, man, thank you guys for being here. It means the world to me. I'm right here, look at my new shirt. I'm fishing for compliments. Fishing, if you guys follow anime, Demon Slayer, no? Anyone? Dark Sport?
Me.
Come on, Denny. No love? Perfect. Well, I'm glad that Pepper is here today. I'm glad California Escrow is here today. Really, I'm grateful. Guys, I can't stress enough. Every Thursday, we're giving all of ourselves. I'm not giving you, you're not giving me. We're giving all of ourselves an opportunity to really level up, right? Oftentimes, we talk about how we want to get 1% better. I think being learning based is something that needs to be on our calendar on a daily basis. So to have some of the greatest, actually, I think in my world, subjectively speaking, two of the greatest in their respective industries, from escrow to insurance, I'm excited for this conversation. Right, I know that again, a lot of times we're like, oh, what else can Pepper talk about when it comes to insurance? Believe me, every time you sit with Pepper, you're gonna get something else out of it. Same thing with California Escrow, so without further ado, oh, one more thing. Between California Escrow and Pepper, how many years of experience do you guys have in the real estate industry? You're in 13, right? What year are you right now?
No. Myself?
Yes.
The years experience?
Yes.
11 years.
11 years, how many years? 5, you?
I mean, our company's been 9 years.
No, just you.
Just myself.
Yes.
It's a year.
Year, so that's 6. How many years?
Half a year.
Half a year, we're gonna round up, that's 7, so 7 plus 9 years, guys. 16 years worth of experience. You guys get to pick their brains. I'm really hoping that this is a highly interactive session. Every single time we host these, I'm hoping that it's not a presentation style format. Because I know we get more out of it when we get to ask questions. So please, guys, without further ado, turn off your phones, put on airplane mode, do whatever you gotta do. Commit this next hour to being again 100% here. And Pepper and California Escrow, thank you guys for leading this conversation. Round of applause for them, please.
Thank you, Daniel. I just feel like we always have to have Daniel speak first. So everybody's up here. Okay. Yeah, so the reason I'm going to discuss about claim today, because I have been talking about holding, servicing, how I can help you guys through escrow all the time. But how insurance works is actually after the escrow closing. That's how the insurance, that's where is our value is. And also I got a lot of questions, why the insurance premium is higher than other, why this insurance company is closed, why the other is not. All the reasons is all about claim. Why the insurance premium goes up that much? Why insurance company live in California? The reason is they paid so much. That's why they have to increase the premium, or they have to left in California in order to survive. We all heard the news that State Farm has been rated to B+ from A starting this month. Their rating class has been decreased by the AM Best rating. It doesn't mean, what does it mean? It's like they have a financial problem. Why they're having financial problem? Because they're paying the claims. So today we're going to share, somebody's watching the Zoom, right? Yeah, so today I'm going to share about some claim history, claim story, to let you guys know how should we deal with a claim, how should we help our client as a realtor, and how can we help you guys as a insurance agent. So my first question is, how much a railing accident can cost your client? Make a guess.
Their life, because they died.
Right, and the,
Uh-huh.
in regards of money, in terms of money, how much? Make a guess. You can think about. 60K? Yeah. No, that's not enough.
1 million?
Okay, like, are you giving us perspective here? We're talking about medical, everything, right?
Everything all together.
Click on their asset, how much asset?
Yes, exactly. I'm going to show you the biggest claim I have been ever facing in my life, in my 11 years old experience. I have a client was paid 10 million for one railing accident. And the other car will just have a little dent on there. So, but 现在我要卖个关子, I don't know how to say that in English, but but I'm not going to discuss this right now. I will have you guys think about it, and then we'll talk about other claim first. I will give you the whole story about the story later. Yes, why us? Same introduction about myself. 11 years experience in insurance industry, and we are a full service insurance agency. We do auto home insurance, commercial insurance, life insurance, warehouses insurance, medical, workers' comp. And we recently moved to a new office in Warner. Right now, we're near the Starbucks in Valley Boulevard, 355 Lemon Avenue. And then we have been selected as a president canceled again last year. And then I haven't go to the event yet. I don't know what's my price gonna be this year. But last year we were selected as a commercial agent of the year for the whole country, which means the commercial insurance production we have been done was #1 all over the country in Farmers. And right now we have 21 full-time W-2 agents, speak English, Cantonese, Chinese, Japanese, and Filipino. Now you notice I don't have Spanish anymore because they're fired. Okay. Yes. Okay. Talk about file a home insurance claim. I believe many of you have been experiencing this. Whenever the client have a water claim, what's the first thing to do? The first thing is I call insurance company 800 number. Is that right? No, that's not right. Do not call them. See, I put a cross mark there. Do not call the insurance company right away when you see a claim. When your client call you, hey, Danny, I have a water claim. I have a water loss. I have a water pipe burst in my house. Should I call the insurance company? The answer is always no. Why is that? Because many times the insurance company probably don't pay. And many times the loss amount is not over your deductible. Insurance company will not pay. But as long as you call the insurance company, you cannot withdraw the claim. The claim will be a record on your policy. And it's going to increase your premium next year, even though the insurance company doesn't pay you. This year, we have been seeing so many new escrows. The house has a claim with 0 pay, with 300 pay, with 500 pay. They got a premium increase a lot, but the buyer actually, the prior owner didn't get any reimbursement from the insurance company because they called the insurance company right away when they have a claim. So the first very important tips, do not call insurance company right away, but you can contact your insurance agent. Okay, the agent should give you a good advice how to deal with this issue. So if I'm your insurance agent, you call us, hey, how should I deal with this? I'll tell you, #1, get an estimate from the licensed restoration company, like the one where have a partner was here, Fortress Development. They did very well restoration work. I have worked with them already. So get an estimate from a licensed general contractor, and they will tell you how much from what they say, what they see from the scenario, from the scene, how much it's gonna cost them to fix this damage. And if that cost is over your deductible, it makes sense for you to submit a claim. If that's lower than deductible, don't submit a claim.
Pepper, let me ask you that again, because again, I've always had this threshold question, right? My deductible is $5K. Okay. I get a contractor, you get Fortress out there, guys, it's free estimate, free bid anyways. But the bid comes in at 5,100.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to submit a claim.
Okay, so like, what's the rule of thumb here? 5K deductible, 8K worth of damage, 10K worth of damage?
Depends
can't-
on how much the client can like afford at this time, but if it's just over
Oh.
500 over deductible, I will suggest you to stay, pay cash. And sometimes if you have a good restoration company, they usually can give you some discount and work around with it. However, a restoration company really works a lot in this scenario. They're gonna give you advice. Hey, I'm seeing from the outside how much it's gonna be, but per my experience, when I open the wall, it's gonna be more damage. It can go all the way up to 20,000, 30,000. So then they will work with us to suggest you submit a claim. Many times the insurance claim doesn't just have a one bill. They see the surface and then they give a bill to insurance company. When they open the wall, there's another supplement and there's another supplement. The insurance bill can go all the way up to a lot of money compared to what you see from the beginning. A good licensed contractor, a good licensed restoration company gonna give you a good estimate. However, if your client have someone review, watch the lossing, and then they tell you the loss pretty much is a couple hundred over the deductible, I will suggest you not change. Because every single house, if you have 2 claims over 5 years, that will make this house ineligible with a lot of insurance company. So you have to use this quota when it's really needed.
And can we make sure, guys, you are not the one that's talking to your clients about whether or not they should submit a claim? That's why you have Pepper and talk to them, please.
Yeah, I understand, but sometimes the realtors still want to be involved where they cannot get rid of it because the client trusts you guys. I always say like real estate agent has the most tightest relationship with the customer. So anything happen to the house, they think about you. And that's also another strong plus that insurance can bring to you. It can maintain your relationship with this customer. If you have with a claim, you communicate through it. Even though we did all the job, but if you communicate through it, it makes a client remember you, you know? Especially when the fire claim was happened, a lot of realtors just hear about their customer, give them advice. It's actually building a relationship with a customer. But my suggestion is you help them through the whole process, give them the right contact, care about them, ask for the status, but do not make decision for the customer. The decision is always made by the customer. Even myself, I will not say, hey, do not make claim or make a claim. If I feel like it's 5,000 deductible and it's only 5,200 to fix it, I will say, insurance company probably only pay you 200, but next year premium can increase 200 too. It's up to you if you want to submit a claim. I will give the information, but still it's client making the decision, okay? So we go over, get an estimate, check your deductible, and when you want to file the claim, that's a really important part. We represent a lot of good insurance companies that the insurance agent can help you file the claim, like Farmers, State Farm, I believe you can, and Allstate, you can file the claim yourself. But for some new companies that well used right now, Bamboo, Mercury, OBIE agents, all those companies, they do not allow the insurance agent to file the claim. Why is that? Because the claim adjuster want to hear the self-statement from the client themselves. That's why we'll have a next bullet points of self-statement. Because they feel like insurance agent can play some tricks in between. And when we describe the cases on client's behalf, the claim adjuster doesn't trust us. They want to hear the story from the client themselves. That's why a lot of insurance companies, they require the client to call in themselves. And there's a new rental property insurance company that who entered California in 2024. Name is OBIE. This insurance company has a really, really good price, a really wide acceptance for houses. However, when they submit a claim, you cannot call, you cannot online. You cannot call for the client, you cannot submit for the client. The client himself has to register an online account and then submit a claim online. Only the client can follow with the claim status. Nobody else can. So we have been experienced a lot of problem with this insurance company. So keep in mind, if your client have this insurance, I will always tell the client, whenever you have a claim, you have to do it yourself. I want to service you, but insurance company do not allow it. You have to understand this before you buy this insurance, okay? And then when we do the self-statement, sometimes the client doesn't speak English or the client speaks Spanish. They can always require a translation on the line with the insurance company. They always provide that, but we don't provide a statement on client's behalf. The client has to call in or talk to the claim adjuster themselves. But for Farmers, if we file the claim or State Farm will file the claim, usually the claim adjuster will call you in about 1 or 2 days. And when they call the client can go over go ahead and give them the self-statement over the phone. Many times the client feel like, hey, you already find a restoration company for me, and please have them talk to the claim adjuster. I don't want to talk to them. And then they just don't pick a phone call, don't answer phone call, don't reply email. That will just make a claim dead. So always encourage the client, they have to pick a phone call. They have to at least make one statement over the phone. And after that, the restoration company can start working with the insurance company, okay? And then after the client make the self-statement, the restoration company is going to submit a report to the claim adjuster. The report usually including a description and a photo. The photo tells the claim adjuster how does this water damage looks like. And the report tells them how much we need to fix and what's the material we need. A lot of details. If the report is good enough, usually the claim adjuster doesn't really need to go to the house to check the status. But if the report and then the price of the price of the fixed cost is too high, the insurance company will still send someone to do the on-site job inspection. So this is the biggest confusion in this part. The client or maybe some friend realtors may think the insurance company has to send someone there. The answer is no. The insurance company also hire a third-party restoration company to go there. Same thing as the one we hired ourselves. And then the restoration company go there, do the estimate, they still submit a report to the insurance company. And then the adjuster will make a decision if they want to pay right now or they want to go check out themselves. For some insurance company, they pay really fast. Like Farmers is really famous about the claim process handling because they have a lot of AI review for the reports. Well, State Farm usually a little slower because they have to have an on-site inspector go to check the house and then make decision if you want to pay or not. But for this area, State Farm only have 3 inspectors. That's why it take them time to determine if this house will be paid out or not. But can you have the client fix this right away? Even the insurance company haven't inspected or they haven't approved the report? No, they cannot. Because whenever we have the client fix the house and then they feel like I can fix it and collect all the material and send it to the insurance company for reimbursement. No, because the insurance company haven't investigated the water damage yet. They won't buy whatever proof you send to them. They can come back to challenge you. Hey, how come you fix this part? I don't think there's a problem, but you don't have a proof, right? So I always tell the client, submit a report to the insurance company, have the restoration submit a report to the insurance company first. Once they approve, go ahead and then fix that. So this part can take 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 weeks, sometimes 1 or 2 months. That's how an insurance company's premiums gonna be different, why they're different. Well, large insurance company, they charge you more, but they have a lot of claim adjuster in-house, so they can do this work faster. For small insurance company, they outsource everything. That's why they don't have to spend this money to keep their people, keep their employee, and that's why they can charge you less. But whenever you have a claim, you just have to wait, okay? And then a claim adjuster, yeah, the next one, wait until the adjuster to approve for all the expense before we're proceeding. No, the answer is no. I just recently have a deal. Like I have a client living in Altadena, their house was so burned down. They want to do a report to make sure there's no poisons in the house before they can really start fixing. But this report costs about $4,000 to do. And then they want the claim adjuster to pay for that $4,000 before they ever proceed. The claim adjuster says that you have to do it first. I have to see if the report makes sense, if they detail enough. And then if the report tells me there's poison thing or not, to determine if I am going to pay you that much. So they have this negotiation over a month. The client gets super unhappy, but the fact is the claim adjuster cannot give you any guarantee upfront. They have to see the report. But the problem is sometimes the report submitted by the third party is not strong enough. The insurance adjuster doesn't want to pay that much, right? That happens. The problem is it is the third-party vendor you hire, I hire, we hire. It's their job to make sure an insurance company pay them. They have to submit a really professional report, detailed enough to make themselves convince the insurance company be able to pay them. If the claim adjuster doesn't pay them, many times it is because the vendor doesn't submit a report detailed enough or they have been charging too much. Okay. So I got a client come back to complain us, hey, how come your insurance company doesn't pay me? I was like, no, it's not my problem. It's not insurance company's problem. It is the vendor, it's just the restoration company's problem. They didn't submit a report the insurance company wanted to see, okay? At this point, we all know, we have been seeing the vendors, restoration companies many times. It means that they're really, really, really important. We have to hire someone who's responsive, knowledgeable, has experience dealing with claims. I've been seeing client want to get a cheaper price with other restoration company, doesn't really have license, don't have experience, new to the market. Don't do that. Always hire someone who has experience in this industry. Don't go with the cheapest one. They have to be licensed. They have to have license. Okay.
Just a reminder, Pepper, most of y'all already know this, but this is a good thing to remember. When you're talking to your clients, if they want to go with their quote unquote handyman, it is technically 100% illegal for a handyman in the state of California to do work anything over $500. Okay, so when your Chinese clients tell you like, hey, I'm gonna use my Chinese handyman GC, fake GC guy to do a $10,000 job, man, the liability exposure is so darn high, it's just not worth it. You gotta be that advisor, you gotta make sure that they have options,
Mhm.
okay?
Yes. And another reason the claim adjuster cannot give you everything up front, because as we said, we can see, we can get an estimate from the surface, but when we open the wall, when we open the pipe, there were more costs coming up. There's something called supplement. The GC has to submit a supplement to make a second bill to the insurance company. So the project for fixing a house is an ongoing project. The bill come one by one. The insurance company still have to see the bill, see the report before they make decision. This is generally how a home insurance claim going to be. Sometimes the insurance company gonna pay you upfront. Sometimes they have to approve you and you pay the, they approve the amount, but the client has to pay the restoration company before the insurance company can really reimburse them. It really depends on how this claim works. We recently have a claim work with Fortress Development is one of my clients. And then they have been paid over, they got paid from insurance company for about 38,000 for the loss of use, for them to pay the rent, leave outside. And for the fixing of the house, the insurance company now saying that I have been paying you that much. You have enough money on hand. You have to pay the restoration company first, and then I reimburse you because the insurance company already paid them a lot upfront. Does it make sense?
Oh, this is the rancho,
Yeah, that one. Okay.
brutal.
Okay, and then when our client is a landlord, that's when clients a landlord, they have a rental property, they purchase with you, they have a rental insurance. And that is the time that client gonna bother you a lot because they're probably not here. They consider you as their property management guy. They call you whenever they have a claim. The tenant tell them, hey, I have a water damage in the house, they ask you to fix it. And then the client may call you for help. At this time, keep in mind, do not like tenant to submit a claim. I have been seeing a client in Belinda, they have their tenant submit a claim with us. And then I didn't talk to the tenant, but the tenant was there, opened the door for the restoration company, hired by the landlord. And then they made an agreement with the restoration company. The tenant take the money and then didn't fix the house. In this case, the tenant take the money from the insurance company, but they didn't fix the house. So if your client is a landlord, they're purchasing a landlord insurance. Landlord is my client. Tenant is not my client. I only talk to my client. So only the landlord can submit a claim with me. And tenant sometimes calling, asking me, hey, what's the claim status? How much is gonna pay? I won't tell you because I'm not representing tenants here. I don't care if tenant got a reimbursement from landlord or tenant can live there or not. I only care my client's interest. If the tenant feel like, hey, I cannot live here. I cannot perform my job. I cannot live here. I need a landlord to give me a reimbursement. That's the job. That's the deal between landlord and tenant, nothing to do with the insurance company. But if the tenant feel like I have been paying insurance, I want to get reimbursed, tenant has to go to their own insurance, tenant's insurance. That's why when we're renting a home, we always recommend you guys to have your tenant to purchase a tenant's insurance because tenant's insurance will have their property coverage, which means their personal properties, their computers, their furnitures, and they will have their loss of use. Whenever the house has a water damage, they can now live in the house. Tenant's insurance loss of use will pay tenant to live outside. It's not landlord's insurance to pay them. But landlord has a loss of rent coverage. What does that mean? Means like the tenant cannot live in this house, so they're living outside. That's why the tenant will not pay the rent to the landlord for this month, right? Because tenant doesn't really live in there. And then the landlord will have a loss of rent. In this case, the insurance company will reimburse the loss of rent to the landlord. But it's up to the landlord if they want to compensate the tenant or not. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then HO6 condo insurance claim. We have been experienced like 4 condo claims last month. The problem is condo is really popular right now. Everybody buys condo in regards of the price, interest rate, and everything. And every time the condo has a claim, they have to involve HOA. How fast the HOA responds to you guys? Yeah, so you know that the same thing when they deal with a claim. That is why the condo insurance being really hard to obtain in the recent years. Because whenever there's a claim, it takes a longer time for the 2 insurance companies to work together to get it done. And during this time, usually condo is a little bit small. When the house, 1 room has a water damage, they cannot live there. They have to live outside. So for all the tenants insurance, the loss of use, the rental fee they spend to live outside is really huge. That's why the condo insurance premium goes up a lot, because people underestimate the loss of use, how large the loss of use claim can be. Whenever we have a condo claim, all the exterior frame structures, pipe, roof, all go with HOA. HOA gonna fix the roof, fix the pipe, but whatever the wall and the paint, the floor that was damaged by the water is going to cover by our insurance. However, you have to fix the roof first, fix the pipe first, and then our insurance is going to close the door, close the wall, close the floor for you, right? Every work has to be wait until the outside is done by the HOA, and then our HO6 insurance can kick in. And then HOA insurance has been climbed a lot this year. I have been seeing a client come to us to shop HOA insurance. Their premium was 80,000 a year for a whole HOA. It's a 24 unit HOA. It's already a lot. This year it's increased to 400,000 premium a year for a HOA. In 400,000.
5X?
Hmm?
5X?
Yeah, right, from 80 to 500, right?
80 to 400.
80 to 400, yeah.
Yeah.
5 times. And then this property is in Aliso Viejo. If you ever have a client buying house in Aliso Viejo condo, you're gonna see a big premium difference and a huge HOA. I have been seeing a condo in Aliso Viejo, 1,800 square footage. And the cheapest premium we can do with California Fire Plan is 4,000. Crazy. And they back out from Escrow. Yeah. So yeah, you guys know this is.
Again, that's just the reality though, right, guys? We can say it's crazy all day long, but again, just make sure you're ahead of it.
Yeah.
So you can have the right conversations.
Yeah, so client may think about HO6 insurance, condo insurance usually only be 400, 500 something. How come it's over 1,000, sometimes nearly 2,000? The reasons here, we paid the claims in the past few years. Even though people feel like I purchased a lot of new houses in Orange County, new condos, it shouldn't have that much problem. But the reality is new construction doesn't really have a good quality nowadays. We have been seeing a lot of new constructions having claims in their first quarter, in their first half a year. And then they have to go to, it's still under the builder's warranty. How fast the builder warranty get back to you? Another century, right? So same thing, condo insurance pay a lot for, even though that's a new construction. I've been seeing this morning, there's a Great Park new construction condo. We call 6 companies, they all decline. They have to go to California Fire Plan. Okay.
When the HOA insurance is walls in, does that cover the wall paint carpet?
That's a very good question. If the HOA insurance has a walls-in coverage, usually it covers whatever in the paint, the floor, and everything. And if that's the case, the lender, the loan bank, will now require you to purchase a HO6 in order for you to fund. But the problem is our client 100% protected? No. There's a funny story. I have a client who's a loan agent herself, and she purchased a house in Arcadia. That HOA has a walls-in coverage with an I-insured HOA. So this loan agent thinks that since the bank doesn't require that, I will not pay any insurance myself. So she didn't purchase a HO6. And then she has a water leak through in their garage. And the garage has a lot of cabinet on the wall that she installed it herself. What's the cabinet considered to? Considered as her personal property. She has to take out the garage, move out all the furnitures in order for the restoration company to open the wall, fix the pipe and close the wall and put all the furniture back. In this case, The wall open, wall closed, pipe fix, all covered by HOA. However, who's going to take off the cabinet and put the cabinet back? Who's going to take out all the furnitures there? It's
Not the
herself.
HOA.
She spent about $2,000 to do this job. And that $2,000 is not covered by the HOA. She has to pay it out of pocket herself because she doesn't have insurance to insure herself. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you asked this question. This is a really common misunderstanding. When the lender doesn't require, we don't buy. Many times we just want to go easy way to have a client fund, go through the escrow. But I believe as a professional, we always need to give a client correct suggestion. It's up to the client if they want to buy it or not. However, we'll have to mention it first. Okay. Occupancy. A wrong occupancy can cause a declination of the claim. What does that mean? I have a client that purchased a new construction in Irvine. At that time, we have a like suspension from auto break for condo insurance, so we refer them to Mercury. And then they actually have a rental property, but they purchased as a primary home because the loan was doing under a primary home. And then they have a water loss in the third month after they got a house. The insurance company declined. So I was helping this friend to make a phone call to Mercury, asking them, why are you declining? And the claim adjuster asked me to read the sentences with them. This house is for primary residence, but it was a tenant submitting a claim to Mercury. They declined right away, regardless if you have a coverage or not. Because your occupancy is wrong, I don't cover you. Do I have a situation that the clients purchase a house with a loan, but they actually with a primary house loan, but they actually rent it out? Do you have a client that actually doing it, leave it there while they do a rental property loan?
All day long.
Right? I have been always tell the client, in my case, I'll tell them you should buy two insurance. If the loan is under primary, you buy a cheapest one to get the loan, but you buy a really comprehensive one to cover exactly the correct occupancy. You can cancel whenever the incorrect one for you to get the loan. You can cancel whenever the loan agent told you can do, but keep the actual good one to protect yourself. That's my suggestion to all the clients. Some of the insurance company, I want to be honest, for State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, those three large insurance companies, even though the occupancy is wrong, they may still cover you for the property section. They may. But the bad thing is, they all have a limitation for the coverage. State Farm doesn't do home insurance, Allstate close their home insurance. Farmers can do a limited home insurance. I have a client, they have an Arcadia house, they're gonna have a tenant rent it back for 3 months, and then they were going to live there primarily. In this case, I have the new buyer purchase a farmer's homeowner insurance company is going to cover the property for sure, even though the seller is leased back for 3 months. Anything happen to the house, they're gonna pay. And I have the new buyer buy a single line landlord liability to cover anything happening on this land while the seller is still living there. Does it make sense? It's a combination of a real homeowner policy, cover him from beginning to the end, and a separate liability to cover the liability.
How much is that liability policy?
It's about 800 a year, but for 3 months, so it's about 200. Yeah, so that's my suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we just recently have a claim, like this has also happened to a lot of families too. The parents purchase a house, but they have their family members, their son, their daughter living there, and they consider this house as a primary home. No, it's actually rental property. It's just you rent a house to your son, you just don't charge them for rent. We have this claim, the father purchased the house and then he live in Taiwan and he has his son living in this house. And the son was actually have a dog. The dog bite neighbor's child. In this case, the insurance company doesn't kick in for this claim because the dog doesn't belong to the homeowner. It belongs to whoever lives there who is not on the title, which is the son. The son is considered as a tenant. And then the tenant's dog by the others. Our insurance company doesn't kick in. When they buy the kid.
That sounds like a lawsuit to me.
Right.
No, I mean, if I was the father, I would think that I would order up and try to sue the insurance company.
Exactly, but the good thing is we provide them a rental quote, the client declined. We told them you have to buy a rental property. No, I don't want to. I keep my homeowner insurance because it's cheaper. We tell them anything happened because the occupancy is wrong, probably won't be covered. She understands, we have everything in writing. So this way we protect ourselves. Like I said, we always make a suggestion. It's up to the client, they want to do it or not. But as a professional, we protect ourselves to make the right suggestion. Okay, so in this case, if you have a client, a wealthy family, the parents buy the house, have the kids living there, they have to buy a landlord policy from the parents, and the kids have to buy a tenant's policy. Okay. Okay, I want to share with you this. Hey, how come? Should be a video. Okay, the video is not working, but I want to show you guys, this one, the ceilings all falling apart. This ceiling is all falling apart and there's dirt all over the floor. And this is not my client. They come to me, send me this video, ask me how can I deal with the insurance company. This was happened a year ago. And then their insurance company only paid them 12K. Do you think 12K is enough to fix the ceiling?
No.
Yeah. Definitely not. It's not even enough to clean the dirt on the ground. So yeah, but they only got 12K. The client insurance company give them 12K, tell them you have a good day. That's how they do. Right? This is my client living Hacienda Heights. They have a little water dripping from the ceiling. Do you see that water? Yeah. And then how much we pay them? It's about 71K. Okay, this is the payout, a reasonable payout for those small damage. And this large damage, they only got 12K. I wish I can play the video for you, but it's really, yeah, it's really impressive. Okay, and this is another damage we're facing. They have a smoke damage. Look at those smoke on the ceiling. When I see this, the photo at the first time, I was like, can't you just wipe it? Why you need to submit insurance claim? And see how much we'll pay them. They got paid for 11,000 just for cleaning the smoke damage. This is a good insurance company and bad insurance company's difference. For this damage, we'll pay 11,000, and this damage they're gonna pay 12,000. Same amount of payment, but definitely different type of damage. Okay. And another claim your client may facing in this area, because we all know Roland Heights has a lot of vandalism claim, right? They got car broken, house broken. There's a lot of Roland Heights property got not renewed by small insurance company because this area have a lot of breaking claims. And when we have a break-in, we have a loss of items. But how does loss of items covered by the insurance company? Usually, when you guys look at a quoting sheet, do you guys look at a personal property? Usually it's about like 30% or 40% compared to coverage A. If we have a 1 million replacement cost house, the personal property is usually 300,000 or 400,000. I have been seeing from other clients, hey, I don't think I have that much personal property. Can you lower that amount? The answer is no, because it's the default setting of the percentage from the insurance company. But are we going to get paid for that much? The answer is no. This is a sample policy we read. This is a page inside a policy book, which is about 50 pages. But the insurance quote we usually receive how much pages it is? 2, right? So there's the details that client never be able to see until they actually have a claim. But as a professional, we know these details, we let the client know there's a lot of difference underneath the policy. So don't just look at number, look at the insurance branding. Then you will see the difference going forward whenever you have a claim. The jewelry, watches, stones, furs, they only cover for 1,000 limit on any one article and 2,500 total. It means like you have rings and you have watches, everything inside your house is only be covered for 1,000 everyone and 2,500 in total. Even though the coverage is over 300,000, you're only gonna pay that much. So if you have the client, whenever we ask a client if I have anything special, they have to purchase a separate policy, which is called personal property floater, in order for them to be covered. Okay. And then there's one interesting thing. This is another policy, and not from another insurance company, which is really cheap. And then they have a limitation here. 2,500 on purchase handbags and the luggages. So all those handbags our girls have, Chanel, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, how much we're gonna pay? 2,500 for everything for this insurance company. But for this company, they don't have a limitation on the handbags. I have a client lost their Chanel. It's the CF Chanel they purchased 5 years ago. It's about like 6,000 something. But when they lost it, the insurance company actually paid them 8,000 because the appreciation this year for this insurance company. But if you insure with this company, they can only pay you 2,500. Okay. This is the small details inside, hidden under the policy. Underneath the policy, we may not see it until we really have a claim. Of course, a claim happens every day. It's not happening every day, but whenever the client happens, when they have it, they're gonna be a big lesson for their life. So what I recommended, what I suggested, I always want the client to buy the right policy whenever they have losses, they never get a headache. Instead of they have a headache first, and then to really think about what's underneath the policy. Okay, and then last topic, let's go back to this claim. We have been seeing some claim history there, story there, right? They can cost you up to 70,000, sometimes 200,000 to fix a house, but a car accident can actually cost you 10 million. This client is a really wealthy family. They have been working for a development company for 20 years. They have properties all over the country, and the total value is 10 million. Okay, when they're driving one day, this a good family, and then the husband and wife, and it was like they're the best couple in their like friendship. Everybody was like, I want to live that life. And then I actually talked to them before they have this accident half a year ago. I tell them you have to increase your umbrella policy. Umbrella policy should cover you up to the net worth, up to the total assets you have, which is 10 million. But they feel like, no, I don't need that much. I don't think like everything can ever happen cost me 10 million. So they stay with 5 million in that case. And then they reel in the other car. What's funny is the driver of the other car has a brain cancer, and they're about to have a surgery. Because of this car accident, the surgery was like, they have to be doing before the time.
I thought it was postponed.
No postpone, they have to do it right away. It's urgent need. And then things not ready, doctor was not ready, the patient was not ready. And then the patient after the surgery, the patient was not healing very well. So they come back to sue my client. You know, whenever there's a lawsuit, the lawyer have to step out of their door. They are not just charging you for the medical payment. They're charging you for whatever they can charge the most. They charge you to the limit that they can find through every network up to your total assets. This client have a 10 million assets, they got to sue for 10 million. And we only cover them for 5 million. So insurance company only say, hey, whatever the cost is, I only cover you 5 million. So by the court fee, lawyer fee, everything is based on 10 million. We only cover them half. And then, but of course, it's not the client's fault, right? It's just a rolling accident. You cannot say that because my rolling accident, your surgery doesn't go well. It's a pre-existing condition. But the other party was like, even though that's pre-existing condition, it can be good without this accident because your accident, the surgery was a failure. So this party is the lawsuit is still ongoing. It hasn't settled down yet. The family was break down. Husband and wife, they divorced. They used to be a really good family, and now see how a really accident caused them to. And how do I get in to know this client? As a realtor, they just do transactions for this family, and the realtors can survive for a whole year. This is the one and only client for that realtor. The realtor lost their one and only client. This is funny. So I was giving the stories because sometimes we feel like this one thing may not affect our deal. How does a client's life works? It doesn't work for us. But this accident doesn't just destroy a family. It's actually destroyed the other person's career, right? You have been probably today you have been spent tons of time to maintain the customer. You can send them greetings on the holiday, send them a gift, taking care of their families, give them a lot of suggestions, show up whenever they need help. But they got an accident, they have no money, they have no deal to work with you. So in regards of business, if we want to have continue the business for some family, we want them to live a good life. So they have enough money to buy and sell their house, and we can keep on doing their deal, right? So give your client a suggestion. Umbrella policy is needed whenever the person's insurance purchases from a good company. Whenever they have a claim, they can tear down a whole family, make us has no deal to do with them anymore, right? So a lot of times we feel like insurance is a small thing. We just get over it, close escrow and done. I believe that's not the theory like we're trying to distribute here in this office. Everyone try to maintain a long-term relationship with a customer. A small accident can cause a big loss to a family. This may be a really extreme example, but can a family face a lawsuit for 2 million? This they can. Back to 2020. Remember there's a time the whole LA lockdown. Before the lockdown, we have a client getting accident. They're really in the other car. And that was a really old, should I say this? The old lady. And then after we had the accident, she did MRI, chiropractic, and everything. We already paid the medical. After the lockdown, 3 months after, she changed her status as a CEO for a certain company. And the lawyer come back to sue my client 2 million. At that time, 2 million is still a big amount. And then the client has a house in Arcadia, which is worth 2 million. So when the lawyer come out, they always sue you the highest amount they can do. And this client was super unhappy with me because they don't have an umbrella. They don't have enough coverage for their home and auto. They are questioning us. How come as a professional, you never told me I need to buy an umbrella? And it's at that time, umbrella policy is only $300 per 1 million. You never told me. And I searched my email. I was like, no, I told you. Last year, September, I recommended this coverage to you. You declined. I said it by email. If I don't have that record, I can get in trouble. I have to pay. I probably have to pay himself. I have to use my E&O to get into this claim to cover whatever the client cannot cover. Because as a professional, I didn't make my suggestion to the client. Yeah. So this is the experience I have doing myself. I've been hurt, so forgive me if in the future, if ever you have a client work with us, we recommend them too many things when they feel like they shouldn't be listened to. That's because we're trying to do our job, protect ourselves and protect you. I don't want to do like fast food insurance agent, like do everything fast, client turn around really fast. We don't have a high retention, no. We want to make sure the client listen to the best advice and they buy what we recommended. Even they don't buy, we made our suggestion. So I want to be a professional, ethical, and a responsible agent. Okay. Do you have a question?
I would go back to where you were at as far as the E&O
Mm-hmm.
and the documents that you were able to submit to prove your claim once you got into the realm of the lawsuit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So were you able to do that?
Do what? Do what?
Submit the ENR that you had provided.
ENR?
Yeah, you said, okay, so you were saying that you had an, the errors and omission,
Mm-hmm.
and you had copies of that. Were you able to submit that with your claim against the people that were filing against you?
You mean like for the cases that I've been through, the client tries to sue me, I use my,
Yeah.
usually have these things happen because I have my proof. I have the proof to show me that I did all my advice. I don't have to, yeah, I don't have to pay anything. But usually the client, when client's not happy, when they talk to a claim adjuster, they feel like
Yes.
they call their claim adjuster tell them you only have 100,000 coverage for your car insurance. There was like, my agent didn't give me advice. I asked my agent if I can get a higher coverage, but they never told me so.
Oh,
If that says so, that will trigger a E&O claim.
yes.
Then the auto insurance claim adjuster will contact my E&O insurance, tell them this agent didn't do their work. You have to do your investigation. They pass the claim to my E&O.
Right.
And then when they investigate me, I provided my proof that I did my conversation, I did my suggestion.
Yes.
And then my case closed. So it go back to the auto insurance.
Yeah.
However, I did have my E&O pay the client one time.
Oh.
I did myself. It was back to last year, July, when I was travel. And then one of my, the client, they usually receive the bill from insurance company. And then there's A lot of clients, they don't read the bill. They don't read the letters. They see the interest company, they throw it away. Has this happened to any of you? No?
2 weeks later.
Yeah, but still it's still open. So the client, they doesn't look at bill, they missed it, and then they missed the payment. However, when they call in the office, they say, hey, I missed the payment, can you please check it? And one of my new girl checked the office, checked the bill. Here's a 500 bill pay. But that's an earned premium, which means the policy already canceled, and then they owe insurance company for $500. They pay this just means like they paid it off. They don't have to go to collection agency. It doesn't mean the policy can be back to normal. So they take the payment. They never tell the client your policy is canceled. But is this original my problem? No. Client should be read the bill, read the letter, read the mail. All the mail has been sent over to you. But it's they calling, my party doesn't make the right suggestion, I got sued. And then the client rating the accident, they roll in the other car. And we'll have to pay all the liabilities.
So they don't CC you or any,
I cannot be CC for any single thing.
no,
Yeah.
CC, they don't copy.
No, they didn't copy me.
Okay.
And it's common they don't copy me for this payment issue. Because it's impossible for insurance agent to see everything, oversee their
Right,
office.
right.
That's why we have ENO.
Yeah.
And in this case, the insurance company of course declined. So I was like, okay, let's pay through my ENO. I personally submit a claim to my ENO, we got it covered. So sometimes ENO can be a good thing to protect my client. I'm not here saying that I don't want to get sued, I don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
I want to do the right thing to give a client suggestion, but if that's a good client, they contact us if we made a mistake. I want my insurance to cover the client to honor what we said, what we said about our service. Okay? And then, no problem. And this is our contact. We recently moved. This is our new address. Whenever you guys need it, welcome to visit us. It's a disaster right now because we have everything through there, haven't arranged yet. But if you have a client want to see us in person, welcome to direct them to one our urban. Any questions for the claim?
Pepper, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Escrow gang, you guys want to take over? I know we're running a little long on time, guys. We need a 5-minute break to use the little boys' room, little girls' room, stretch out a little bit. If not, we're gonna continue to move this shift forward. We're good? Let's keep going. No, let's keep going. Zoom audience, let's keep rocking and rolling. If you guys have any questions, put it in the Zoom chat.
Well, everybody, thank you very much for your time. I want to say thank you, Pepper, for your insights. There's a show on HBO called Lioness. If you guys ever seen it before, it's a great one. She reminds me of the main character that just kicks butt and is a specialist that goes in and gives you inside information and insights of how we could protect ourselves and make sure that we don't have troubles, right? And at the end of the day, right now, Sarah is going to go ahead and let us know how we could get in less trouble and be able to make things more seamless and smooth. So Sarah, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Pepper, again.
Hello, everybody. I am Sarah from California Escrow Group. I've been with this company and in escrow for 5 years. Before that, I was actually a student at UC Irvine. My degree is in criminology. So that allows me to read court cases because occasionally we see that. Also, it means I'm very detail oriented. So when I'm reviewing your file and it's like 200 pages long, I can figure out what's missing and we can make sure it gets signed before we close our deal. So today is all about escrow insights on how to close deals. I have done 14-day transactions and it closed it in 9 days. I could have done it sooner, but it was Thanksgiving, so we had to wait for the long weekend. And so I have done very fast deals. I've done like 15-day loans. And so I do know how to have a very efficient escrow. So how can we help you look like a hero? If you know you have a complicated case, maybe your seller is in a trust and the trustee passed away, pre-open escrow. Or if you know, maybe they have a lot of mortgages or a lot of liens against the house, pre-open escrow. I can give you net sheets for your sellers, for your buyers. We can figure out a good timeline of how long your transaction will take, but we can do those things for you. We also order the 90 city report. I know their website can be very confusing and the clients can be confused in how to fill it out. You don't want to charge your client $75 and then for it to be filled out wrong and the city says, nope, sorry, you have to resubmit it and pay another $75. We also roughly know which cities require city reports. So you have something in like El Monte, South El Monte, sometimes in the Eastvale. We can at least remind you, hey, did you order your city report yet? We've got to make sure we have it before we close escrow. The next thing is HOAs. Can someone tell me roughly how much HOA docs cost?
HOA docs?
HOA docs.
I agree.
I've seen 500, I've seen 1,000. Sometimes they're upfront fees, sometimes you pay at the close of escrow. First service residentials pay at the close of escrow, but they're crazy expensive. So if you have 2 HOAs, that's about $2,000, $2,500 that your client pays. Sometimes as a seller, that's a little scary that you don't realize, oh wait, and my net sheet didn't say that, because we wouldn't know the dollar amount until we order those documents. But then also, if you have a first-time home buyer, sometimes they don't realize you can have more than 1 HOA. You can have 2 HOAs. I've seen a property with 3 HOAs. I've seen a vacant land with an HOA. So just warn your buyers, hey, you're comfortable purchasing with HOA. Maybe there's 2, maybe there's 3. Do not ask me what these HOA companies do. I do not know. I just know they're crazy expensive, and I do not want to purchase a house with an HOA when I do buy. So as a buyer agent, what you should know to have a very smooth transaction. Does the property have solar? Solar companies get bought out a lot. So SunPower got bought out by SunStrong. So SunStrong is very slow at everything. Normally it is 15 business days that they can do everything for the solar side. 3 weeks. So that's at least a 21-day escrow. Please make sure you do not have a 7-day escrow with solar. We will laugh at your contract and we will instinctively think we cannot close this deal on time. So just know, if there's solar, it cannot be fast. Even if solar's paid off, there's still a transfer process. Sometimes it's as easy as buyer going, hi, I'm the new homeowner. And then that's it. Solar can transfer the ownership of the panels to them. Sometimes it needs to be happening like before escrow closes, or we need information from the seller to do it. So even if it's paid off or leased, you cannot have a fast, easy escrow with solar. Just make sure contract is at least 21 days, 30-day escrow. Vesting. Is your buyer married or single? Mainly because if they're going to be on title, both husband and wife, please make sure both your husband and wife are on your purchase contract. If only one person is going to be on title, then only one person on your contract, no worries. But vesting is super important. IDs for notary purposes, I have seen it where sometimes you have a Hispanic with 4 names, 5 names. We want to make sure that they can get notarized properly. We do not want to accidentally misspell their name. I've seen Patricia spelled as Patricia and with like spellings on the purchase contract that's wrong. So just make sure, maybe get their ID before you write your contract, just to make sure everything's spelled correctly. So we can fix it at a time instead of waiting like a day or 2 before loan docs come out and your lender says, hey, you misspelled your name. We can figure it out ahead of time. Also, BRBC, I know it changed in December. BRBCs are still very confusing to a lot of real estate agents, but give it to escrow. When you open escrow, we want to make sure that you get paid for the amount that's in your contract. Even if the seller is not covering it, we will still ask you, hey, is your buyer going to cover the remaining percentage, or are they not going to pay for it? So just when you open escrow, give escrow your BRBC. We want to make sure that you guys get paid the amount that you agreed. For your sellers, there's a lot more information that we need to have a smooth escrow. You need your payoff information. You guys know the minimum amount of information we need to order a payoff. 2 things. You need your mortgage company, you need your loan number. The best thing to have is a mortgage statement, because sometimes like Mr. Cooper uses a sub-servicing company, and so we wouldn't order with Mr. Cooper, we have to order with someone else. We wouldn't know until after 2 business days, Mr. Cooper doesn't give us our things. So minimum amount is mortgage company and your loan number. With that, I can most likely order your payoff for you. Sometimes I need the social security number, but it also lets me know, oh wait, you have seller's mortgages with East West Bank. They take 5 business days to give me my payoff. I have had them take 3 weeks because I submit my request and they're like, nope, sorry, signature's wrong. Resubmit it. Nope, sorry, the signature still doesn't match. I can't give it to you. Submit a different way. Sorry, it's not working. So every single day I'm calling, being nice. Hey, I want to make sure you at least got my request. They're like, yeah, we have it. And the next day it gets rejected. So if you have American banks like Chase Bank, Bank of America, I can normally get those payoffs in about 2 hours. But the Chinese banks, so CTBC, East West Bank, those take a lot longer, normally between 2 to 5 to 7 business days for us to get those payoffs. Water stock. Anybody know what water stock is? Water stock is a privately owned water company where the homeowner actually owns stock in the water company. And a lot of the times the agents don't know, or the seller says, no, I don't have water stock, and there's actually water stock. Water stock is normally in properties in like West Covina. I have one currently in Upland. Sometimes I get it in San Bernardino County, sometimes in Riverside County, but every water stock company is different. My current one in Upland, the stock certificate original that the homeowner got needs to get notarized, or if they don't have it, a different form needs to be notarized. Other companies are like, oh, fill out this form and when you close escrow, let me know. But water stock is very important. It is easier to work with them in escrow, and after the close of escrow, they find out, hey, you didn't contact us in escrow. And so we're like trying to get things done as quickly as possible after the close of escrow. And that's when you don't want to piss off your water stock company. You don't want to piss off any company. So we just know ahead of time if there's water stock or not. Legal status and primary residence. These are mainly for tax withholdings. Legal status, so you're a citizen, primary resident, or not, sorry, permanent resident, or if they're a foreigner. Basically, do they have a social or not? If they have a social, normally there is no IRS withholding, which is 10 to 15% of your purchase price. If they are a foreigner, meaning no social, or their social starts with 9, then you have withholdings. So if you have $1 million house, that is $100,000, sorry, that's 15% withholding. So $150K in withholdings only to IRS. And the primary residence is if they've lived there for 2 years within the last 5 years, it is considered their primary residence. If it is not their primary residence or they are not exempt from franchise tax for withholding, it is 3.33% of your purchase price. So again, $1 million house, that's $33,000 and change for withholding. So $1 million house and you have a foreigner, automatically it is not their primary residence. So that is $183K to withholdings that your seller is not going to get in the proceeds. The next thing is for also still taxes. If they're going to file jointly or separately, I currently have multiple cases where my sellers have gotten divorced. So it's a little bit more confusing. Sometimes they're amicable, sometimes they're not. But are you filing taxes jointly or separately? So prepare the tax documents for them to sign. And just make sure that the percent ownership still equals 100. So if there's 3 of them, they want to split everything a third. Someone owns 33%, 33%, 34%. As long as it equals 100, we are good. If you want to go into like decimal points, again, as long as it equals 100, it cannot be 33, 33, 33, because that does not equal 100, okay? So just make sure percent ownership, taxes, everybody wants to know how to do it correctly, and we want to file it correctly for them for franchise export and the 1089-S. For entity documents, for the seller side, we actually need those in order to draft our escrow instructions. We need to prove that your seller is the homeowner. So if your seller is under trust, we need to see those trust documents. If it's in a trust and they passed away, we have to see the full trust documents. I think it's like 15 to 40 pages. It kind of just depends who prepared it. But in your full trust, it does say successor trustee, so we know who can sign all our paperwork. And the title company needs to see it in order to close escrow as well. But escrow needs to know, just to make sure that person on your contract is actually the person that we have in our escrow instructions. We do not like fraud cases. We don't like fake sellers. Those are a nightmare to deal with. Also, entity docs is if they're in an LLC, we still need them. LLCs and corporations need different documents, but when we open escrow, we will let you know. You got to give us these things. We have title company review it so that they confirm, oh, so-and-so is the authorized signer. Again, so we have their name correct on our escrow instructions. If it's wrong, we can easily do amendments. but we want to make sure we're as correct as possible in the first place, just so there's less confusion between the clients. And then the last thing is your proceeds must go to the sellers on title. So if you have husband and wife, 2 people, husband and wife needs to get the proceeds. If they have a joint account, cool. If they do not, we can still send it separate accounts, 50 to the husband, 50 to the wife. But we just need to make sure that, why did this go away? Okay. We just need to make sure it goes to everyone on title. Same thing for trust. If your seller is in a trust, proceeds must go to the trust, cannot go to the individual account. So make sure they have a bank account for their trust. So clients go to the bank with their trust docs. Hey, I want to add a name to my account. That's how they can do it. Or they can open a whole new separate bank account for the trust if they want to. That works as well. But on escrow's end, we have regulations. Seller's proceeds must go to the owner of record. So if there's 5 sellers, money goes to all 5 sellers. We've had one with 8. That was a nightmare. We had attorneys involved. There were 2 teams, but yeah, these are the things that can help you have smooth transactions, fast transactions. And we've closed deals early when we have good communication with our clients. Everyone's like on board. Yeah, let's get this signed. Send an opening package and send it back the same day or the next day. But sometimes they're just slow replying, slow giving me documents. I don't like waiting to send out escrow instructions, but I will if I have to. So it's like these things can help you have fast, smooth transactions, because on the back end, every single time your buyer fills out the opening package, things to your lender, seller fills out, we order payoffs, we find what's missing, we make sure you have all your invoices. And this is how, if you have all this information, you can close deals on time or close deals early with minimum stress as possible. So thank you so much, guys. Here's my contact information. I'm sorry, but M is cut off on here.
Knock it off, it's just a new subject.
Yeah, .co. So this is my contact info. I can send you guys net sheets for your sellers or your buyers, or if you want to open escrow with us, you can. I work in the Denver office. We have offices in Irvine, Arcadia, Temple City. We have one in up north, and Jocelyn is always wanting to create more offices for us. I know she's in the works for like San Diego. So I'm currently in the Denver office, so we're very close to you. And thank you so much for your time. I know we're all hungry, but I really appreciate it.
Guys, please, again, I know we ran long, but Sarah, you nailed it. That was incredibly insightful. Make sure you guys take the time to give her a high five, shake her hand, grab her business card. Let's stay in communication. Zoom audience, thank you guys. If there isn't any Zoom questions, let's go ahead and close this out, and you guys get some food, stretch out your legs, network, and have some fun. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Let me show you the thing.
You have a business card?
I have my boss's business card, but I have the PowerPoint as well. If you all want.
You're an escrow officer? Okay. Actually, here, we'll just, I'm gonna the old school way.
Oh.
Very old school way.
So this is the office number. I actually do not have a.
You don't have a work, okay. Never mind, I was called escrow then, okay.
It's because if people have my personal phone number, then I'll be contacted at 11:59
I get
night while I'm playing video games.
Oh, what video games to play?
I've been playing Lost Stars.
The MMORPG?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bye. Thank you so much for coming. Can I close out of this Zoom meeting? Oh yeah, I'm just the only one here. Okay, exit.